Testing, testing, testing.
Good morning, Cubs. Today is Thursday, May 23rd, 2025.
My name is Kaylin Velasquez.
And my name is Melanie Mendez.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, Texas Pledge, and moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible. Please remain standing for a moment of silence.
Thank you, Cubs. You may be seated.
The Lions' way is to be respectful, responsible, safe, and kind. Let's cover our coughs and sneezes, wash our hands, treat each other well, be nice to each other, not say mean things, and be there for each other.
Cubs, remember to follow the dress code. Polos must be solid colors, red, blue, gray, black, or white. Jeans may not be torn, Crocs, fake brushes, handles are not allowed. Hoodies must be zipped or be clean attire.
Attention, Cubs, the year awards have been scheduled. Please look at the dates to determine what date applies to you. 7th grade, May 28th at 1 p.m.
6th grade, May 27th at 10 p.m.
1 a.m. 8th grade, May 30th at 10 a.m.
Attention, Cubs. Softball players, you're invited to softball tropical party. Report to Ms. Carmona's room 113 on Friday, May 23rd during den time and lunch. Feel free to bring any snacks and treats to share with your team.
Let's go to the other side of the studio for announcements from our guest.
Good morning, Cubs. Cubs, we are still checking for dress code teachers. I will send that list out shortly just so that you can check it. We still have a few kiddos, quite a few, same almost as yesterday, that still need to complete online registration. Please remember that online registration does need to be completed. I understand that some students might not be returning, but just have your parents call and let us know because we also need to know that information as well. Cubs, we love you. We want to just make sure that you are making good decisions. The decisions you make do have consequences. So please continue to make good decisions following the dress code, even if you have free dress. Just what we're doing outside, in the hallways, in our classrooms, we still have to take care of business. Teachers, just a reminder to please use Securely Pass in letting students go to, I lied to you, teachers, we can't even use it. They don't have Chromebooks. So we will just please make sure that we're limiting the hallway traffic and being conscious about that. Students, we've had a lot of guests in our building, substitutes. Please make sure that you are showing them that we are a better campus to substitute for in comparison to other campuses. Let's be respectful, responsible, safe, and kind, following the Lions way. We definitely hope that you have a great Thursday, and we'll have an even better Friday. Basketball game is tomorrow. If you haven't gotten your tickets, make sure you get your tickets. It'll be fun. Have a great day, Cubs.
Thank you.
Today's cafeteria menu includes Fairy Jalapeno Cheddar Burger,
Corn dog,
Sunflower Burger Jelly Sandwich,
chicken patty sandwich,
spicy pepperoni pizza,
cheeseburger,
spicy breaded chicken sandwich,
cheese pizza,
grilled cheese,
turkey and cheese sandwich,
breaded buffalo chicken salad. We would like to wish a very special birthday to
Genesis Mendoza,
Jonathan Pinedo, Giselle Guerrera. Happy birthday.
Cubs, let's take a look at our weather for today.
Oh, there we are. All right, I'm not wearing any green, so I don't know what's going on here. But Jonathan, can you tell us what is your current weather right now?
Our current weather today is in 84 degrees, sunny, and 0% chance of rain.
Okay. In the afternoon, we're going to get to a high of 100. And I kept telling you yesterday that next week, in that field day, make sure you bring your nice little cap, bring some water, because there's a good chance we're going to get this kind of weather once again at 100 degrees. What are we expecting this evening?
This evening, we are expecting to go down 84 degrees and then clear skies and 0% chance of rain.
Yeah, as you can see, 0% chance of rain throughout the entire day, even overnight. When you guys are Mimis, we're going to drop only to 70 degrees. So the days are going to start definitely getting hotter going forward. Okay, hopefully we don't get none of that crazy wind that we've been experiencing for the last couple of months or so. Okay, so hopefully from now on we get good old nice El Paso weather. Hot, dry, not windy, okay, just to enjoy the evenings. All right, back to you.
Thank you.
Today's
This concludes today's announcement.
Cubs, remember that we love you.
And that at Clay Junior, we are working together